Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome, Jenny. I can tell you've been waiting to hop on. So how'd you guys like that little skit dub smash that I did? That took a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I just love that song and that beat. So I hope you enjoyed this. Some of you already have commented and liked it, like Jenny has. So I appreciate it. Thank you. So tonight I want to talk about, let's talk about relationships. You know, when you now this could be any kind of a relationship. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be a business partnership. It could be any type of, when you say relationship, it's just two people coming together and building a bond. It doesn't mean that it has to be romantic off the bat, although it can be, but it doesn't have to be. So that's kind of what I want to clarify that. So let's talk about relationships. You know, when you start a relationship, when you start conversating with somebody, you start talking to somebody, you start hanging out with somebody, you start getting to know them, you'd say, you know, if you both agree, you'd probably say that you're starting a relationship, right? Now, it takes a little bit of time, right, to kind of build and kind of get to know each other and kind of just go one day at a time, right? Now, back in, well, not really back in college, still to this day, I love instant noodles. I don't know if you like, I know it's not the best thing in the world for you. I know that I digress, but I promise I'll bring it together. I love instant noodles, and they're amazing, especially if you throw a little green onion cut up. I really like green onion in there. Anyway, so I digress. Now, when you have your instant noodles, you put your instant noodles, maybe you put some hot water in it or you boil it or what have you. How long does it take for it to loosen up? It doesn't take that long, right? You just put the hot water in and 2-3 minutes, if you would, maybe even 5. It loosens up, right? And just in a few, it's cooked, it's done. Now, that's why it's called what? Instant noodles, not take forever, you know. So that's why it's called instant noodles. Now, let me ask you this. How does misunderstanding work? Would you say misunderstanding is something that it takes time and days and weeks and months and years to build and to get? Or would you say misunderstanding is more like instant noodles? Would you say when you say something and then other person misunderstands you, would you say it takes 2, 3, 5 minutes? Or would you say it takes a year? I think if we understood that concept, we would understand that speaking or acting in certain ways or using certain terminology, words, or even tone of voice with certain people can trigger not so good emotions, right? It can trigger that misunderstanding. Hey, Andrea, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. I don't know who has been on for how long, but I see the numbers go up. So when you say something, you act, even your tone of voice can trigger that person to kind of do this and misunderstand you. And I gotta tell you, it doesn't take long for the person to just misunderstand you and say, And the thing with misunderstanding is that usually the person doesn't come out and say, I misunderstood you. Like when you make that instant noodles right then, and it takes 2-3 minutes for it to be cooked, the person doesn't come out in 2-3 minutes and say, oh yeah, I misunderstood you. Unless it's a very good relationship, strong bond, not the first time you guys are talking, that is not going to be a good outcome, right? So if you take that concept, if you really keep that concept in mind, then you would agree, no doubt, that having a good relationship, having a solid relationship, or even two friends can talk about anything that they can talk about. They can be themselves without like hiding or playing politics. That's the last thing I like in a relationship, like playing politics. So if you take that concept and if you run with it and you take it up, you say, you know what, to have that sort of a relationship, to have that kind of a solid relationship, it's not gonna be like instant noodles. It's gonna take time to build that relationship. At the same time, you wanna be careful, and this, again, it goes back to your MVPs, your morals, values, and principles, where you could say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be careful, I'm gonna be more sensitive and attentive to my other person or my audience as I speak or try to get a point across. I'm going to be more sensitive and more careful because I don't want people to what? Misunderstand me. If we could get rid of that most of us, I'll speak for myself, me, most of us would just love to be what? Understood. So that whole ruins the whole thing. And it can be on both sides. So I ask you to be careful, be attentive, and be observant of the other person, of your audience, and treat it like, hey, you know what? This is noodles. I don't want to be hot water where it's just going to be like that, right? So be careful what you say, how you act, and, so that you're not misunderstood. I know that it takes a little bit of time, maybe a lot of time, to build that solid bond, that solid relationship. And here's the thing, that time that it takes, this could be a whole other life, but that time that it takes is not one-sided. It's not like you're going to spend all the time trying to build that relationship and the other person just sits there and kumbayas, my lord. That's not time spent on the relationship, right? Although misunderstanding, it's one-sided, but building a relationship, it's both-sided. Understand that. That's so powerful, because misunderstanding is really just one-sided, right? Because the other person misunderstood because of something, right? But building a relationship cannot be one-sided. You can't just build a relationship all by yourself. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. I appreciate you guys. One takeaway. Drop one takeaway from this live down in the comments below. Let this feed grow. If you haven't seen my last skit, my international Arabic skit, Dub Smash, where I don't have a clue of what I'm talking about or what I'm saying. Just love this beat. If you haven't seen it, go see it, comment, share, do what you like. And yeah, if you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love, tag a couple people, you know. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.